Apple is quietly rolling out some massive new rules for its App Store, and you might be affected without even knowing it. We're going to break down exactly what's changing, why it's happening, and what it means for you. Now, if you want to stay ahead of these huge shifts in tech and brand strategy, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for @BrandTech off. All right, let's get into it. So, have you tried to download an app recently only to get completely stopped in your tracks? It almost feels like your own phone is suddenly working against you, right? Well, it's not just you. If you live in Australia, Brazil, or Singapore, this is very real. Starting right now, Apple is officially blocking you from downloading any app that's rated 18 plus, unless you can prove you're an adult. And this isn't some future update I'm talking about. This is live, happening as we speak. And let's be super clear. This isn't a bug. It's not a glitch in the system. This is a deliberate, calculated response to this growing web of child safety laws popping up all over the world. Tech companies are really feeling the heat from regulators, and this is Apple's first major move. So, what do these new rules actually look like on the ground? Well, the answer's kind of complicated because how this whole thing rolls out really depends on where you are in the world. And what's really fascinating here is just how much of a patchwork this is. So in places like Australia, Brazil, and Singapore, it's a hard stop. No 18-plus apps until you are verified, period. But then you look at the US, and it's way more nuanced. In states like Utah and Louisiana, they're only requiring that your age category, not your exact age, be shared with developers. It's a totally different system. Okay, so this all raises a huge question. How in the world is Apple verifying your age without creating a total privacy nightmare? This stuff is notoriously difficult and can get super invasive. So, what's their secret? The answer is this really clever piece of tech called the Declared Age Range API. And the crucial thing to understand here is privacy. This tool doesn't go telling an app, hey, this person was born on May 15th, 1995. No way. Instead, it just confirms whether you fall into a specific bucket, like over 18. It protects your exact personal data. And the process itself? It's actually beautifully simple. So first, you try to download a restricted app. Then, behind the scenes, the API quietly checks the age range that's tied to your Apple ID. And third, and this is the important part, the app developer only gets a simple pass or fail signal. That's it. Your actual birthday never, ever leaves Apple servers. But of course, this creates a bunch of new hoops for developers to jump through. They have to integrate this new API just to stay compliant. And in some places, they'll even need to get parental consent just to push a simple update to a minor's device. I mean, the entire app ecosystem is literally shifting under their feet. But hang on, this isn't just about social media or dating apps. These new rules are leading to a massive and kinda unexpected crackdown on one of the biggest industries in the entire App Store, mobile gaming. It turns out regulators have totally zeroed in on one very specific feature that has become, let's be honest, everywhere in mobile games: the loot box. We're talking about those in-game purchases where you spend real money for a random chance to get a cool digital item. And some governments are no longer seeing this as just a harmless game mechanic. In Brazil, for example, the official classification for any game with loot boxes has now been changed. They are now officially considered to have gambling-like mechanics. And that specific phrase, well, it changes everything. Because of that reclassification, any mobile game in Brazil that has loot boxes will now be automatically and mandatorily slapped with an 18-plus age rating. Think about that. Overnight, some of the most popular games in the entire world could basically become adults only in the country. Wow. So this all brings us to the real tension at the heart of this whole shift. It's this fundamental conflict between protecting users, respecting their privacy, and also giving them a seamless, easy experience. Something has to give. Which, leads us to the biggest question in all of this. This entire system only works because Apple thinks it knows how old you are. But how do they really know if it's accurate? They aren't asking for your driver's license. So what is actually happening behind the scenes? This really shows the two paths a tech company can take. On one side, you've got Discord's approach, demanding that users submit government IDs or even face scans to some third-party company. The user backlash, as you might remember, was so massive they had to completely pause the program. And on the other side, you've got Apple's method. It's silent, it uses the data you've already given them, like payment info, and it's seamless. But it's also completely opaque. So this is the final trade-off we're all facing. What do you actually prefer? Do you want a transparent system that makes you scan your ID where at least you know exactly what's happening? Or are you okay with a silent, invisible verification, all handled behind the scenes where you just have to trust that the company is getting it right?